Hi and welcome to this Level 2 Sample Paper 5 video walkthrough. So let's have a look. First question is a scale drawing question. The most important thing with scale drawing questions, in particular this one, is this here. This scale says 1 to 500. That means every centimeter on paper equals 500 centimeters in the real world. So what's it asked us to do? It tells me it's a scale diagram of a long jump track. So it's a scale diagram. This means somebody has taken the real world measurement and brought it down to paper for me. So I expect I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to bring the paper measurement and bring it up into the real world. So take something small that's on paper and bring it into the real world. We multiply by the scale factor. So we measure or we count the squares. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 squares there. So I'm going to do 8, my measurement, times the scale factor, which is 500, and get 4,000 centimeters. Now the answer's in meters, so I'm going to divide by 100 to turn centimeters to meters and get 40 meters. Next, the long jump runway needs a special surface. The width of the runway is 1.2. Each bag covers 2.5 meters. Work out the area of the runway. Well, area is length times width. So the runway, well, I know the width is 1.2. We need to multiply it by the length. Well, that was the previous question we did, which is 40. Multiply them together, length times width, and we get 48 meters squared. It says, how many bags do you need to work on the runway? Well, to work out how many bags, you need the size of the runway, which we have here, 48, and each bag covers 2.5 squared. And squared just means it's just a unit. So each bag covers 2.5. So the question is how many 2.5s are in 48, which is a divide. So 2.5, 48 divided by 2.5 is going to be nearly 20, but not quite. It's going to be 19.2. So 19.2 bags. But you can't buy 20 bags. Sorry, you can't buy 19.2 bags. So you need 19 or 20. We're going to go with 20 as 19 would not be enough. Look at your answer in 1B. Explain why you decided to go for 20 bags. Well, because 19 is not enough. You need 20. Next, we have a walkout zone. It's 4 meters by 2. We want to turf it. The turf comes in strips. There they are there. Draw a rough sketch. Label it. And work out how many turf strips you have. Well, the walkout zone was shaped. There's it there. So it's a rectangle going down the page. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. There we go. Bit like that. Fine. I'm going to label it. I'm going to put my measurements on it. 4 meters. Was that 2 meters? And I got to put strips in it. Now the strips are in centimeters and this is in meters. So we have to change them to the same units. You could change this meters to centimeters or you could change the centimeters to meters. I'm going to change the centimeters to meters. Well, 100 centimeters is 1 meter, so 200 must be 2 meters. If 100 is 1 meter, 50 must be half a meter, which is 0.5 meters. So our got here, we've got a big shape, which is 4 by 2. If I want to work out how many times something goes into something, that's area. So the area of this is 8 meters squared. The area of this is 1 meter squared. So how many ones fit in the 8? Well, 8. So you need 8 strips. Next, you got to draw them in, roughly. Well, we know this is 2 meters this way. Well, that's 2 meters this way. So I can just go like that and fit them in. And just say rough, so there we go. 4, I think it's supposed to be 8. So 5, 6, 7, oh dear. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's that completed. Obviously use a ruler in the exam. Each strip costs £1.89. Work out the total cost. Well, total cost means to add up. We can add up 8 times because there's 8 strips, or we can multiply it by 8, which is a quick way of adding up. So we'll take a calculator We're allowed one in the exam, and we multiply £1.89 by 8, and we get £15 and 12 pence. Next, we're asked to fill a sand pit. There's a sand pit there. It's got a depth of 50 centimeters. If I see the word depth, I'm thinking of volume straight away. Volume is basically the area uh, of the bottom of a sandpit, in this case, multiplied by the height or depth. We usually say volume is length times width times height, although some people say it's the volume of what they call this the area of the cross section times the height or depth. Means the same thing. So what we got to work out first is how much sand the pit holds. This is the volume. It's a three-dimensional shape. It's the length times the width times the depth for height. The only problem is the depth is in centimeters and our measurements are in meters. So I'll have to change centimeters to meters. 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So 50 must be a half or 0.5. So that's 0.5. So volume equals 8 times 4 times 0.5. 8 times 4 times 0.5 gives you 16 meters cubed. Now, I want to put sand in it. They come in bags or ton bags, and I want to see how many I need. Well, I need the volume of the sand pit. Now I need the volume of the bag of sand. The volume is length times width times height. Length times width, also known as the area of the cross section. Well, that's got to be m2 on it, meters squared. That means somebody's worked out the length times the width for us already. They've done this bit for us, and they've got an answer of 2. And then we're going to multiply it by the depth. The only problem is the depth is now in millimeters, and we want it in meters. So we could divide it by 1,000, as there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter, and get 0.4. Or if we don't know there's 1,000 mils in a meter, we can divide it by 10. That'll turn it to centimeters for us. And then we can divide it by 100 to get it to meters. You'll end up in the same place. 2 times 0.4 is 0.8 meters cubed. So what we're doing is we're taking our sand pit and we're seeing how many of these bags of sand go into it, and that's divide. 16 divided by 0.8 equals 20. So we need 20 tons. There's a section on volume in your revision book. Make sure to revise it. A ton of sand costs £184. How much does 20 tons? How much will we pay? Well, what we'll do is we'll times it by 20 to work out what we'll pay. Times it by 20, that's for 20 bags. We get 3880. 3880. But the government are going to add some VAT, value added tax to it, which is a bill, an extra cost, and it's 20%. So it's 20% of whatever we have spent. So we take that, we divide it by 100, we times it by 20, get our calculator, divide by 100, times by 20 to work out the percentage. We get 776. And because of the bill, we add that on to what we originally had, and we get an answer like so. 4656. Again, percentage of amounts and increase and decrease are important, so please revise these. Here we have some metric to imperial measures. Again, you get this in your revision book. We have done some work on it in class. We have a landing pit. It measures 8 meters by 4 meters. I have a rubber safety strip around it, so we're putting a strip around it, so I'm thinking the perimeter already. It gives me the cost. It's sold in whole feet. We've got a feet to meters conversion. It wants me to work out the perimeter of the landing pit in feet to the nearest foot. So we need to work out the perimeter of the landing pit. And it's a rectangle. It's 8 by 4. So 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 4 is 20. and 4 is 24. So the perimeter is the distance around the outside. We add up all the sides. So it's 24 meters, but it wants the perimeter in feet. So we take this conversion factor it has given us. There we are, and we write it out the way we see it. And we put in our number, 24 meters. I'm going to put over this side, as this is where the meters are. Now, if I'm going forward in maths, I'm multiplying. If I'm going the opposite direction, backwards, I am dividing. In this case, we're going this way, so we're dividing. We're taking our 24 and we're dividing it by the conversion factor. So you're always multiplying or dividing by this conversion factor. So we take 24 and we divide it by the conversion factor, which is 0.3048, and we get 78.7 feet. Well, they only sell it in whole feet, so I'd have to go for 79. That's the closest to 78.7. The cost was £5.25 per foot, so there's 79 feet, so each foot costs £5.25. So I'm going to multiply 79 by £5.25 to get £414.75. Next, you got to work out the cost. So the turf, go back to the start, the turf cost £15.12. So you put that in there. The sand cost quite a bit, wasn't it? It was quite a big number. 4656. 4656. The rubber safety strip, £414.75. And we would add these up to get a total. A total means add up. 12 plus 4656. 4656. No. 1512 plus 4656 plus 414.75 equals, we get 5085.87. 5085.87. It says work out the cost for to the club, and it says it's 1/7. 1/7 means divide by 7. And we would do that and get our answer and add it in. Next, we have a shampoo, which is growing hair. A Rapid Growth shampoo increases hair growth by an average of 25% in 1 month. Oh, I must buy a bottle of that myself. 20 volunteers work out the range for the volunteers' hair growth. Well, the range is the highest, 19 in this case. Take away the lowest, which is 7. 19, take away 7. So range the difference between the highest and lowest numbers. Here it's 21 and 9. 21, take away 9 is 12. So they're both the same. The range is the same. What does the range tell you about hair growth? Well, the range tells you if hair growth is consistent or inconsistent. So in July, the range was 12. Well, 12 is quite high. The biggest number is 19, so 12 is quite, reasonably close to that. So you'd say the range was high, which means the hair growth was inconsistent. Over here, the range is also 12. The biggest number is 21, so not as inconsistent as this month, but still inconsistent. So I'd say both months are inconsistent as range is high. So check out that word inconsistent or consistent if the range is low. Check one of your calculations in 2L, lovely, yeah. 21 take away 9 is 12. We'll check one of them, check this one. Let's do a reverse calculation. Go to the answer. Instead of taking away, we add, and we get to 21. Next it says work out the mean or the median for these 2 months. Well, the mean is add them all up, divide by how many, and the median is put them in order and find the middle number, or the middle two in this case. If you find two in the middle, add them up and divide by 2. Again, make sure to revise this in your revision book. So I'll go and start adding those up now. So if you add them up, this column and this column, do them separately. If you add the first column up, you get 250. And there's 20 numbers. The mean is everything added up divided by how many numbers you have, and you'll get an answer of 12. If you add the next column up, this one for August, you'll get 290 if you add them up correctly. There's 20 numbers, so you'll get 14.5. That's the answer. So 14.5. And this one's actually 12.5. Now, if you're doing the medium, you put them in order and find the middle number. And I think the medium, there's 2 in the middle, you put them in order. They're both 13. Add them up, divide by 2, you'll get back to 13. And the second column, there's 2 numbers in the middle. If you add them up and divide by 2, you'll get back to 15. So make sure you know your averages always pop up in the exam. In the last exam, most recent exam, they certainly had the median. They asked you specifically to pick the medium, so make sure to revise that for the exam, but know them all. Explain why the average used in 2D is the most suitable. Well, if you use the mean, you would say, I use the mean as it uses all the data. If you pick the medium, you would say, I picked the medium as I wanted to get rid of really high and low values. Make sure to know that. It's only 2%, but it's 2 easy marks if it pops up. Compare your results in 2D for July and August. So July and August, there you are there. 2D, what can you say? Well, you can say that hair growth in August was on average better by 2 mils than hair growth in July. Now we're asked to have a formula here. P is the increase in hair growth, and that's what we're looking for. Of 100, or stands the average growth using the rapid growth shampoo. Which one's rapid growth? We'll go back here and find out. Rapid growth is the one they used in August. So the one they used in August was 14.5. The one N is the normal shampoo, which is 12.5. And then we divide that by 12.5. Then we do 100. There's no space here between the brackets and numbers, the letters, it means multiply. And then we do whatever's in the brackets first. So 14.5 take away 2.5. Leaves you 2 actually. 2. And we're going to divide by 12.5. So 100 times 2 is 200. Divided by 12.5 on a calculator will give you 16%. Now draw a graph, a suitable graph. Well, these squares are quite small, it's going to be hard to see on the screen, but oh dear. There's a graph. We're going to put these two things in. Also says the Health magazine results in 2G, so there's an answer in 2G, and the adverts claim. So we have 27.5. We'll start at naught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go up in 5s. I'm just going to do it roughly, folks. You'd be a bit more accurate than me in the exam. But every 5 squares, I'm sort of putting in 5 as best I can. It's hard to see on screen. And then we get 17.5 for the first one. There's 15. 17.5 is going to be halfway in between. You draw it in. And it is a G, some sort of magazine, GH. I'm just going to call it GH for short. Next is 27.5. There's 25. Halfway in between is going to be 27.5. And about there roughly. Obviously use a ruler in the exam. And give it as name, Style Me. I'm just going to call it SE. The next one is your answer for 2G. 2G, the answer was 16%. So there's 10, 15, so just about here. And the last one was the adverts claim. We go back to here. There's the adverts claim. It says advert, it says claim 25%. So we'll put there's 25% about there. We'll stick it in, make sure to label them. Up here on the side, give it a label. I think it's percentage. And these are results. Something like that. Do you think the claim in the advert is true? Is correct? True. Well, it says, what's it say? The advert says that Use this shampoo and your hair will grow 25% in 1 month. Well, according to this one, it said 17.5, so it didn't. This one says it did grow more than 25%. This one said 16%. So 2 out of the possible 3 were saying that it didn't grow. So what we could say is the adverts claimed correct? No, I would say no, as 2 out of the 3 magazines were below 25%. So I would say no. And last, we got a 3 diagram question. Make sure to revise these for the exam. So 3 diagrams are branches, they're about decisions. We have people who've been invited to take part in a test. 40 people agreed to take part. So TP, take part. Some said yes, some said no. Well, 40 out of 80 said yes. So 40 out of 80 must have said no, whatever's left over. And the people who said yes, only a certain amount finished, completed. Completed, I'll probably complete, yes. No. How many completed? Well, 20 people completed. 20 out of 40. Why 40? Because only 40 people actually started. How many didn't complete? Well, whatever's left over. 20 out of 40 is left over. You had 40, 20 did this, and 20 didn't do it. Now, what we need to do is multiply this one, the people who take part, by the people who completed, as that's what they want to know. Again, see here, I could probably simplify these if I want. I could multiply it as normal, top by bottom, etc. I could do 40 by 80 times 20 by 40, but I'm just going to simplify a wee bit. 4 out of 8, well, 4 out of 8 is also a half. Half of 8 is 4. And 2 out of 4 is also a half. So I've simplified it quite a bit, down to 1/4. Again, make sure to revise these. Now it says they want 100 people to complete. So how many people do they ask? So they know that 1/4 of the people who do it, who they ask, will actually complete. Well, 1/4 of 100 is 25, but they want 100 to complete. Well, another 1/4 will be 50. Another 1/4 will be 75. Another 1/4 would be 100. So many people. 1, 2, 3, 4. 400 people they need to ask. Let's test it. 400 divided by 4 for a 1/4 is 100 people completing. So number of people they ask, 400. Thanks for watching this video on sample paper 5. I hope it's a help in your upcoming exams.